Hello. In this recording, we're going to examine the behavior of constructors when working with super and subclasses, aka parent and child classes. So in the example files, I have a file called showsuper.java. And if we look at it, we see we have a superclass animal. Animal has a no-arg constructor, which will simply print out the animal no-arg constructor ran. It has an arg constructor, which shows it'll print out animal arg constructor ran, had arg of, and then whatever the argument was. And then we have just an animal sound method. Okay, I want to focus kind of on one animal at a time. So for this first run, we're just going to look at the top lines of output until we get to that dashed line. And basically, we're trying to look into the how constructors work when I have parent and child classes with or without their own dedicated constructors. So let's run this the first time. And remember that, well, we'll see that I'm calling dog with no arguments. And then I'm curious to see what constructor will be run. Will the animal know our constructor run? Well, let's run this and look at dog. Okay, so for the dog printout, notice that the animal know our constructor ran, as evidenced by this line. I did a my dog animal sound, and that was interesting because if we look at the dog animal sound method, I'm using super to call the parent class animal sound. And then I also print out the dog says bow wow. Hence, this is the output from the parent class animal sound called through super animal sound. And then this is the output from the overridden animal sound method in dog. If I were simply to comment this out and run this again, call out the super call, okay, at this point we have never called animal sound from the parent. So demonstrating that I can call methods, even overridden methods, from the parent class through the keyword super. Now, that's not really focusing on constructors, which is another point of this video. So let's collapse dog. We're going to clear our output. And this time around, I want to look at the behavior of the second block of code, which deals with cat. Now, if we look at cat, cat has a no-arg constructor. So question one, if cat has its own no-arg constructor, does the constructor from animal get called as well? Let's demonstrate. Okay, if we look at the cat section, a little trouble getting that to line up there, we see that yes, even though I had a no-arg constructor from cat, the no-arg constructor from animal ran, and the constructor from cat ran, and the overridden animal sound method in cat printed out, the cat says meow meow. We did not get the overridden animal sound behavior of the animal makes a sound happening. Now in this example, okay, so if I have a super kitty line that I uncomment, well, now what I'm going to do is demonstrate that I can run the arg constructor from an overridden constructor. Okay, so the no-arg constructor cat is going to call the parent class's arg constructor. And let's look at the behavior of that. Okay, so this time around, we see that the parent class arg constructor did actually run. Once again, to point this out, the one we're running now is this one up here. Public animal, it's an R constructor, same name as the class. And I printed out animal R constructor ran, had an output of input, which was kitty. And notice that this time around, the no arg constructor did not run from animal. Okay, I sort of, even though I called cat with no arguments, I sort of overrode the no arg constructor from animal by calling super, which called the and supplying an argument. So it called the arg constructor. And once again, just to look at this, if we comment this back out again, well, now I will run the cat no arg constructor, but I will also run the parent no arg constructor as well, as demonstrated with the animal no arg constructor ran line printing out, and then the idea of the cat no arg constructor also running, and then the overridden cat meow meow method. Okay, the overridden animal sound method. Finally, cow is kind of an anticlimactic finish here. In cow, I have no constructor whatsoever. Let me clean up that IDE collapsing there. So when cow runs, I expect it to run the no arg constructor from animal. So let's run this again. Okay, and I do in fact see the animal no arg constructor ran, meaning cow with no constructor of its own ran its no arg constructor, and then also ran its overridden method. So I hope this sheds light on the behavior of constructors in both the parent and the child. Quite honestly, if you had to watch this a couple times to see how that fell through, I wouldn't be surprised. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.